I've sat myself in front of my video camera and I'm just going to talk, empty my mind. I want to ask you if you feel that the world is really changing. Now, the thing is, I've just turned 50. Well, I turned 50 in March. Look at my cat earrings. They're adorable. I love cats. I think that when you're younger, you work towards having some qualifications and getting a career, bringing up your children, and you fantasize about the time when you're able to work unhindered by childcare because the children grow up and they're more independent. When you get to that stage, when you're 50 plus, you start to realize that there is a long stretch between starting to work full time and retirement. And in the UK, the age of retirement for a woman, I think, is 66. Now, the thing is, even if I worked full time at my current job until I was 66, 16 years, I wouldn't have much of a pension anyway, because I don't know why. Pensions just don't seem to be that great. You have to have started a pension ages ago. Look, I'm being seriously distracted by the length of my eyelashes. Okay, I was interrupted by my phone and various other dings and sounds, so I'm sorry about that. Now, yeah, you can't really rely on your pension if you haven't been paying into it for most of your working life. And even if you were in the happy situation of having been in full employment, from the age of 21, 22, you could perhaps look forward to a nice big pension if such a thing exists at that time. But you see, what goes hand in hand with that is the fact that you will have spent most of your life, most of the Monday to Fridays of your life at your job. Now, there are some people who are really career-minded and they express themselves within the challenges of their work, and they really, self-realize within the environment of their work. And there are some people where it is like a slow death, and I fall into the former category, which means that the very thought of having to go into a job every day just fills me with dread, really, and makes me drink margaritas on a Sunday afternoon. Because really, for quite a long time, I mean, I've only been working full-time probably for 5 or 6 years, but I already am sitting there thinking, how much longer is this going to go on for? Surely I can't go on like this for much longer. I'm much more suited to the creative self-employed life. And I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there, because it's a story that you hear so often. Of people expressing the same frustration, the same kind of, that Sunday feeling and the Monday morning feeling. So I applied to work part-time from January, and I'm going to be working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that's going to be a huge reduction in my take-home pay. It's going to be a reduction of about £150 a week, £600 a month. That is all of my disposable income. It's going to be all gone. So I have to make up for it. And I'm looking into self-employment, and I know that e-commerce is really a growing industry, and what really excites me about e-commerce is that there's so much supporting software out there that you can use to market yourself and to advertise yourself and to promote yourself, There's the social media platforms that a lot of people use as advertising. I mean, when I go through Instagram, there's always something coming up as advertising. The same with Facebook. Even YouTube videos that you watch for fun, people are always advertising on there. And when you're in the mind frame of watching something for fun in your downtime in the evening, you've got the headspace to look at that advertising and maybe act on it, etc. So there's that's something that I'm very interested in doing. But really, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which is it seems to be very politically incorrect at the moment, is I remember a time, and this is going to sound absolutely, in fact, I'm not even sure I'm going to include, this is what it's come to, I'm not even sure I'm going to include it in my video, but I remember a time when women or one partner's salary was all that you needed to buy a house and have a life with a reasonable amount of disposable income. And I do remember a time in this area when you could buy a house or rent a house and one of you was able to stay at home. Now, the way things have gone with house prices that have been ever increasing is that people are buying modest houses or even not so modest houses at great mortgages. By great I mean large, and both of them are having to go out there within that world that I've just described, where working isn't an option anymore. You don't feel that you're doing it because you want to. You feel that you've got no choice, and you just cut off any straying of your mind into any alternatives, into anything creative, into maybe fashioning or developing another lifestyle. You know that for the next X amount of years, after you've gone back from maternity leave, if you have children, you're going to be straight back to work. And I've done that. I mean, I was a student, for example, when my children were little, and I did also work on and off. I worked and then I wasn't able to work anymore, and then I'd stay at home for a period and then go back to work. And I had the option to do that. I had the freedom to do that. Now, with my two daughters, I'm not sure that they have the freedom, especially the older one. She wants to buy a house, start a family, get married, and she knows that working isn't really an option. She just has to do it. Look, if you want to work and if you thrive on working, that's great. I'm sure that you'll get a great job and have a great life and be able to move up and get promoted and get more money and expand your lifestyle. Okay, but not everybody's like that. There are some people who find that to be an attack on their very soul, and they're not really suited for that sort of thing. I'm making it sound like there are some people out there who are like little princesses who can't possibly take the strain and the stress of working. And if that's the way you want to hear it, good luck to you. But if you actually know what I mean, I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope you do, because a lot of people that I talk to about it are just look at me as though I'm a bit strange. And I don't know why. I don't know why they do. It seems perfectly obvious to me. Perfectly obvious. I need to let my mind roam. I need the creative process. I need to feel that my time is my own. If I'm going to sit down and do the work, I'll do the work. And if I need to pop out to the shops or take my dog out for a walk, I can. If I want to work from home, I can. Why can't we have a better balance? Why can't we have a sense of some kind of autonomy, some self-authority over our life that means that we can live a more human way? Years and years and years ago, I recorded a radio program because the biggest talk was working from home was going to be the next big thing. And I know that people do much more working from home now. Well, I want to take it into the next step. I want to be self-employed and working from home. And I'm aware that some people find that quite a challenge, because you need to motivate yourself, you need to organize your own space, you need to be able to deliver. But if you're doing something where you're being well rewarded for your time and you're interested in what you're doing, I don't see that that's going to be a big problem. I love the thought of working for a few hours, but still having the ability to go out and meet somebody for lunch. Maybe I'm just being incredibly naive. I don't think I am, because there are a lot of people who are already living exactly this way. You know, I bought a book called The 4 Hour Work Week, and it described a way of working and living that freed you up to enjoy your days on this planet. Is that such a crime? And those principles or those ideas, you may be able to instigate all of those ideas, but you may be able to instigate just a few of those ideas and free up your time to do other things. Well, whatever you think is right or is possible, that is totally your decision, and you're totally within your rights to have it. But I want to be within my rights to believe what I believe and want what I want, and I really want it. I really want it. And the other thing that I would like for the world is that in the Western society, is why should women work like dogs if they don't want to? Or why should they be, why should they have to? Why should they have to? Isn't that some kind of slavery? And what happens to the children? You know, a lot of women, now I'm talking about women because I am a woman. I don't know what men want. A lot of women have got that mothering and nurturing instinct where they really are concerned about the welfare of their children and love their children more than their own life. Why are they not allowed to bring up their children? Why have they got to drop their children off at a nursery and rush off to work, and then have that pressure and that stress if their children are ill and they have to ring in and say, my child is ill, I can't come in, and worry about their progress at work and their promotion, etc. Wouldn't it be better if they actually worked from home? Wouldn't it be even better if they actually had their own business? And wouldn't it be better still if that business paid them well, better than actually being employed? And wouldn't it be great if they leveraged the power of the internet to make their business reach a global market? I mean, isn't that what most businesses do? A lot of online businesses do that now. And the bricks and mortar businesses, they also do it because they know that that's the future. You know, the high streets are closing down. I think most of the shops on the high street, in my high street, are phone shops, vaping shops, and charity shops. And there's a very good Oxfam bookshop. But I haven't walked down my high street, I think, for about a year and a half, 2 years. And the reason is because there's nothing on there. It's a spiral. It's a spiral where you don't buy things from the high street. They don't stock anything. No new shops open, and therefore you don't go to the high street. And so it goes on like that, But really, I can't fight the battle of the generation. I can't fight and solve the problem of the declining high street and the increase of online use. All I can do, one puny life, is to try and provide for myself and those that I love under the circumstances. And those are very much the circumstances, and it makes me wonder what the future actually will look like. Because the face of towns is not going to be anything that I recognize if a lot more people live their life online. Even in the cities, I don't think a lot of people live. Well, maybe they do. I mean, I used to live in the city about 100 years ago. This margarita is utterly delicious. Blimey, I'm going to have another one in a minute. But yeah, I do feel that life is changing very much beyond what I've always known it to be. I got my first computer in 1997, and it was dial-up internet, and I went on to AOL, and I only had a certain amount of usage for the money that I paid every month, and there was nothing online. There's nothing. And I remember when Amazon started up, I think in that year, or maybe the year before, and I remember thinking, why have they called it Amazon? What does it mean, Amazon? What are they trying to say? That they're burning down the rainforest to make the books? Because that's what they were. They were a bookseller. And pretty soon they started to have other things on there. And now everything you want, the majority of stuff that you might need every day, you can buy with one click on your phone. You can even ask, I don't know actually, can you ask Siri to do it? Hey Siri, buy a repeat order of cotton buds from Amazon. I wonder whether that would go through. I doubt it. So there you have it. These are my thought processes. When I go into work, I love delivering a quality service because I think people deserve it and need it. And I love seeing my work colleagues every day. But the truth is that I don't really have any like-minded people around me. Not that I'm a genius or that I'm very unusual or anything like that. I just don't really get to meet people that talk my language and think the way I think. And I'm sure that they feel the same, But I do meet a lot of people online and we connect very well. And, if you don't mind not having that human face-to-face organic meeting and interaction, well, it's something that needs to be sacrificed anyway, because the reality is that you will meet more people online than you will walking down the high street or going out in your local pub, etc. So, I don't know. These are just some thoughts. I do have plans. I'm going to look into e-commerce more. I'm going to start working part-time in January of next year. So my dog's going to lie down because I'm talking too much. And that will give me 2 days, plus 2 days at the weekend, to start putting my beliefs into action and putting out the feelers of the changes that need to be made, because I feel like I'm a sitting duck waiting for a pension that won't ever materialise because I didn't put the hours in, and also the pensions are shit. And basically not wanting to accept that I've got to leave my life at home, get dressed, leave my life, lock my front door, get in my car and drive 20 minutes away to a job that has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing here. Do that for 8 hours and then come home with nothing left to give because all of my energy has gone into doing my job. I know how this sounds, guys. I do hear how this sounds. A lot of people will be saying, oh, count yourself lucky that you've got a job. Count yourself lucky that you've got a secure employment. There's lots of positives about my employment. I work with people. I love the people. I value what the service that I give. It's very much needed. But what about my needs? And what about my fears about tomorrow? As an individual, as a mother, even though my children are grown up now, but please do leave your comments and please subscribe to my channel. I would value your comments and your thoughts and maybe in time your friendship.